Okay. Thank you. Well, we're here in the studio this morning. Got Mike, as mentioned, co-host. And so glad you're here, sir.
I'm glad too.
How was your week?
It was really good. I did a lot of stuff that I can't tell you all about right now, but I was a busy lad for a change.
Good, but no careening, no chaotic incidents.
No, I haven't had an accident. We even moved my hot tub with a bucket loader the other day and didn't hurt nothing.
It's been a couple of weeks since we've had an incident, sir. You're on a roll.
I am on a roll, folks.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
Well, it wasn't me. It was an accident that I didn't have an accident.
Right. Well,
I didn't intend to.
At least you're putting some effort into it.
I'm trying, sir.
And then this morning we have, normally we have Dangerous Darren here on the dials with us. And this morning we're going to have Dangerous Dillinger.
Yeah, man. Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
No, they can hear me, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
My voice is plenty big enough. They know I'm here.
So,
No, this is a pleasure. I'm glad I get to hang out with you guys. This is nice. I get to experience it firsthand instead of just listening from home.
right.
Yeah, the morning show host is here with us, folks.
Right. And on the dials, doing something.
And it's past my bedtime, just so you know, already.
So we're already deep into it this morning. Thank you, Dillinger.
You're welcome, sir.
Joining us this morning and doing the magic there on the dials for us, keeping us going. And that, too. And good morning to our Facebook friends and our YouTube friends. Glad you're all here with us. And we have a special guest on the show, which was mentioned last week. And we have Miss Catherine Behrenwald with us today. She's highly regarded and well-known PA up this way. I want to call her doctor because everyone calls her Dr. Kate. But she's not an official doctor. She's a PA up here, and she's an addiction. What is your exact title?
So I would say that I'm a primary care provider who specializes in addiction.
That's it.
Yep. Since the last time I was here, I had a little shift in the logistics or semantics of what my title is and where I work through. So now I'm just coming home to roost in Montcalm County, and yeah.
So we're blessed to have you here in Montcalm County full time now.
Yes. Yep. No commutes for me.
Took Grand Rapids out of the equation.
Sure did, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta simplify and settle where community is.
Right. And how's that going for you now that
It's
you're back
great.
home?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's been really nice to have taken that time down in Grand Rapids, worked through specialty, got extra support and training, and learned a lot down there. But to be able to, like, come home and settle in and do that just full-time up here is exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm really blessed.
Take that education, you bring it up here and apply it.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
And we all benefit from that. Everyone in the recovery community.
Might I ask how the folks at the addiction clinic down in Grand Rapids doing without you, young lady?
Oh, they probably cried,
Oh,
but
okay.
they'll soldier on. I mean, when I went down there originally, it was never to be permanent down there, so I don't think they had the expectation that I was going to magically uproot. I'm pretty stubborn.
Oh.
Allegedly.
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 I bet you could prove it if I gave you an opportunity.
I don't think we should try.
Not today. Maybe not today. So now that you're back home here, because this is home, correct?
Sure is, yeah.
And you're getting reacquainted with the recovery community. And you got 2 offices open, I understand. One in Lakeview and one in Greenville, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
So Greenville Family Medicine on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then the Lakeview Care Center, which is where the Family Medicine Clinic is, for Thursdays and Fridays.
And those are like, what, 8 to 4 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7:30 to 4.
And then folks
5.
can just wander and walk in, right?
Yeah, they can. That was one of the things that was really important when I was working in Grand Rapids was we started walk-in access. So when people have motivation to get treatment, they're able to just come on in, not have to wait until an appointment is set. And so that's been really important for me to be able to keep doing that up here too.
Yeah, that immediate access is critical in a lot of situations, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when a person makes that decision, you want to be there to
Yeah.
offer some guidance and direction.
Yeah, especially if it's something like coming in for treatment from opiates. if people are at a point where they're ready to shift into treatment, but they have to delay that, then they're probably going to start feeling sick, and then it really is going to make a big barrier to be able to sustain, being treatment ready until that appointment comes around.
Right.
You're talking about a different kind of sick. The withdrawal sick.
I'm talking physical sick, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people that come into recovery have they're sick people. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't manifest itself in physical symptoms, mostly emotional, mental. That's the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
Not that you don't know, Doctor.
It's Kate.
Kate, not that you don't know,
Oh,
Kate.
you made it so far.
Oh,
You're doing great.
yeah. Usually when I say something wrong, they hit that dump button, but that wasn't a family radio issue.
That wasn't,
Will.
Yeah, that wasn't a dump button situation. Thank you for that, Mike. You are getting better.
Progress.
Yeah,
Not a lot, but some.
improvement.
Right. We'll take what we can get. So anyway, now that you're up here, you're home, you're settled. What is a day like? How we spoke prior to the show about your numbers, but how many folks are you seeing on average?
So on the average day, it would probably be somewhere between 15 to 18 folks on like the average day.
Wow.
And then if any new folks show, we'll just work them in as we're able to, and I think everybody's pretty understanding on the schedule that, if somebody urgent comes in, a lot of the folks I see, they've been in those shoes before. So they're happy to be able to say, like, I'm good enough to be able to be patient and wait my turn. Yeah.
Right.
So this isn't something with earlier training that you could have worked into part of a family practice setting so much.
When I started working family practice, I was mostly family practice and had some folks I was treating for substance use. But I think that I've done it long enough now.
You've been at this a while, haven't
I've been
you?
at this, I've been in practice for like 10 years.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. It doesn't feel that long. It feels so short. But I think it's a little bit easier now because I pretty much, I've learned that I don't need to know all the things right away. I just need to, we need to start with the basics of where things are at right now, and then we can always work forward and figure everything else out along the way.
Right. Be a lot of figuring in there, wouldn't you think, Mike?
Not for a guy like me, it'd be more than I can handle. I'm glad we got a PA on the job, Kate. I'm catching on.
With an education.
Yeah.
So good, and then you notice some improvement in the recovery community as well.
Oh my
I know
gosh.
in your absence, a lot of growth has taken place in this area as far as the recovery community as a whole.
I think about when I started at Montcalm Care Network 10 years ago and how...
Well, that was at the height of the opioid crisis, correct?
I mean,
So
the
there was a lot
opioid
of
crisis has
triage.
had different shifts.
Yeah.
But I think that was before treatment expansion really happened. So there was a lot that was going on without a lot of resource in the area. And to see what the treatment community has embraced since that time, to see, the growth of the recovery community, and also treatment isn't just medication. Treatment is looking for wholeness, and so to see all the social aspects that have opportunities that have blossomed for this community, that is amazing.
It is, and I know we've been able to be a part of some of that, and just the physical, emotional, and spiritual blossoming of people before your very eyes is what this radio program is about. We call it a continuous miracle. And then to see those folks march forward and become productive members of society again and embrace life is nothing short of a miracle. And it's, like you said, the last 10, 12 years, it's really blossomed or grown in the area here. So, and it's thanks to credit to folks like you, who have showed up and tried to help folks along the way, and the organization you work for, and organizations like Summer who've come forth and stepped forth with some resources and to be helpful to the folks who are coming into the recovery community. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I think the more connection we can have between organizations like Cameron is really trying to make sure that everybody, all the players of the community, are aware of each other so that we can get the smoothest transition for services for folks who are in need. So that's been really cool to work with.
Yeah. And what I've seen is positive results from all that. That's the miracle part of it. It's actually working out here, folks. And we get to be a part of that. And PA Kate is is in the thick of that on a daily basis. So we're so glad she came in to be on the show with us today and help explain to you some of the things she's actually been part of and witnessed over the last 10 years up here in our community. So we'll get right back here in a minute after these few short messages. Dillinger's telling me I got to do something. I'll let him do something. How about that? So we'll be right back here. Thanks for listening, folks.
What I'd like to touch upon, almost interrupted, Dillinger interrupted, but it had to do with about the linking of resources. What we normally do most of the time has to do with the aftercare part, with the people that are trying to.
Hey, this is Jerry Ritz from Six Lakes,
sort
Michigan.
out what's
I would
going
love
on
the
in
music
life
on
with
the
the
hometown station,
medical
M1063, hip-hop AM.
Want a better paying job?
I've
Get
been
started
part
with
of
free
what
computer
Orwell
skills
has
training, free career
become
coaching,
aware of
and
is
free
that-
job search services at West
linking those
Michigan
people
Works.
through like
Call
recovery coaches,
1-800-285-WORK
follow-up advice, whatever, what
or
they should
visit
do, maybe do, or possibly.
westmiworks.org.
But that
Ask
gets
if
them in
you
our.
qualify for trade assistance
I work
Act
with recovery,
benefits.
I understand a
Call
lot
West
of that stuff, but I
Michigan
know
Works
that
for free
most of the
computer
time I'm an
skills
AA
training,
guy,
career
and
coaching,
none of that
and
stuff
job
matters,
search
so.
services
But if people
at
aren't linked to us
1-800-285-WORK
or
visit
something similar, they don't have the
Yeah.
long-term
Could this
support.
be any cuter, right? And the best part?
Part of it is,
Except Discover.
Dylan,
Except
is that
Discover. In
everybody
a little
has
place
to have
like
a
this?
conversion to
I
get
don't
better
think
at
so,
this.
Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh?
And AA or NA supports the kind of conversion that we deal with, not necessarily Kate, but that we deal with.
So
Others
we
have like
shouldn't
religious
conversion
conversions,
plans?
and we're not
You're
really
making a
that.
comeback.
Churches kind of are like that.
Sure.
But you
More
have to have the
spiritual than
Discover's
anything.
accepted at 99%
yeah, but you gotta have a
of
support
places that take
network that's
credit
going
cards
where you're
nationwide.
going.
And that's
Based on
hard.
the February
Yeah.
2025 Nielsen
Well, that's what
report.
we create.
35 seconds.
Did you know that Central Michigan Recovery and Education Network at Ferris State University
creating.
works in the community to help
Somebody
veterans,
pointed
the
out for
homeless,
like
It's
unhoused,
building
Separate
rapidly.
pregnant,
silos.
and
that's
recently
good.
incarcerated
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Get a
maintain
lot of good
recovery.
feedback, so that's awesome.
Visit Cameron.org for more information.
This program is supported by the Health Resources and Services
15
Administration.
seconds on this
I'll
rejoiner.
make a couple mentions here, and then you can
$1,200,000,
ask about
0%
that.
financed with non-governmental sources.
Okay.
The
I'll
contents
stumble.
are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by
ahead,
HRSA,
throw it in
HHS,
gear.
or the U.S. government. For more information, HRSA.
Oh heck, the transfer case is low. Dang it.
Yeah, somebody had the pot on air. That's why I couldn't hear them. They play with my buttons when they're in to do NASCAR and stuff. But, all right. Wherever you are.
All right, good for us. We're back on the air. Yay. Good job, Dillinger.
Hey,
Glad to have you here this morning, sir. Hey, a couple of things we wanted to touch on before we get back to PAK here. We got a day to accept coming up, and that's going to be on the 20th here of September over at the MCC Greenville campus from 9 till 1. And they're going to serve a little lunch, and it looks to me like there's going to be a couple of keynote speakers. And oh, look, Sheriff's Landing.
timing.
Helicopters.
Timing is everything.
Helicopters in the house. And P.A. Kate is actually one of the speakers. If I'm reading this correctly, is that right there?
Yeah, they had asked me if I'd be willing to talk, and since they wanted some coverage on medication-assisted treatment, that's my bread and butter.
I was going to say that's your forte.
It is, but it'll touch on that. But I think, especially with like what we've talked about, how recovery is just so integrated. Like what I'm offering is only a tool. So I think we'll talk more about how like that tool fits in as a piece that people can be using to actively engage in their recovery. So,
Right. And that's
yeah,
the
we are
medically
not the be all end
assisted.
all.
No, oh no, medically assisted is not the
Yeah.
end all be all.
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, something a lot of people don't understand about medically assisted treatment is the bulk of it deals with the cravings aspect of it.
The physical.
And the physical cravings aspect of it, and another large part of it deals with physical withdrawal. But when most of the time when I hear people talk about medically assisted, it has to do with getting over the cravings to a point where there can be some type of therapy, or most people still in the throes of withdrawal aren't very receptive to learning anything.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Pretty clammed up. Pretty clammed up at that point.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, a lot of people continue to use especially opiates or alcohol because they feel terrible if they stop. So being able
Physically.
to provide,
Yeah.
physically terrible, absolutely. So to be able to provide some stability, but there's a lot that goes into craving. There is the chemistry piece that medication supports, but for a lot of folks, they've been using substances for several years or decades. So craving is also that piece of the relationship that's missing for them.
You know, they used to tell me that I had a God-sized hole in my heart. That was that missing piece you might be talking about.
Maybe for you, yeah. As I say, everybody I think experiences that individually. When I talk about cravings with folks, I usually refer to the relationship piece as like the ex-boyfriend or the ex-girlfriend. Like,
Right.
it's hard to like sometimes make that clean break if that substance or that person was such a big piece in your life. And then it's like, how do you go on? What's your purpose?
Yeah. What's next?
And
what do you
there
replace
might
that
be
with?
exactly there might be, times that you are lonely or stressed that it seems like that relationship would be a good thing to go back to. Doesn't mean that you necessarily do.
Well,
But
not
medication.
advocated.
But a lot of people can understand because substances, the way they affect the brain, it hits the reward center, and that feels an awful lot like love.
I apologize. I know.
No,
I don't-
jump right in.
I
Come on
apologize.
in, Dillinger.
I was married to an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and after the divorce, there were times when I'm in my new location and home to where it was uncomfortable. I thought I needed that person and that
Yeah.
situation still around, but then it took me a little while to realize that I did not.
Yeah.
Don't go backwards. Got to have that forward momentum, or else it's just going to make you miserable. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they,
Well, that's that pleasure center that she was speaking
Yeah.
about. You want to return to
Right.
feeling good or feeling.
But you
at
think
least
that's
feeling
what's
what
going to
was
make you feel
comfortable.
absolutely.
What was
Yep.
comfortable?
Yep.
or I mean, change is difficult.
Because
so even,
recovery is uncomfortable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, like early on when I was working, I think everybody sold treatment as being this really nice thing. It was a positive thing. It was great. Drug use was bad. And what I think the treatment community missed was like people use substances for a reason.
Right. There's
And
a
it's
purpose.
usually to numb or to feel better. So, like, there's a lot of shame that's attached to the fact that, like, at that time when people were struggling, that substance hit that hole that they had and it temporarily filled that need, even if it ended up being worse in the end. So, I think it's a long process to grieve the end of that relationship, even though you know that, like, ultimately the journey is hard, but the opportunity is so much better.
Right, and that's a vicious cycle because even you hit your reward center, and then the next day comes, and you that guilt, shame, remorse, whatever it might be, has been multiplied.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
there's one more piece of confusion a guy like me had.
Oh.
I might have been, well, I sort of like, maybe
Just
Dylan
one.
did
Only
on
one?
this.
Wait a minute, only one?
Well, there's bunches, but this one,
Okay.
I may have to some degree been addicted to the chaos of a relationship that wasn't really healthy, because
Yeah.
that's what I knew.
That's what you knew. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
something about the familiarity. I went back to the familiarity. So I knew I'd get you shaking your head, Dillinger.
I get it.
Well, it's comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get in that
At
groove
that-
and you're
at
like,
that point in your
you
life.
think that's what you need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you can't find anything else to replace it, so
Yeah.
it's hard to,
No one's giving you a better idea.
you don't have a better option.
That's
Go
right.
Thank
with
God
what
for
you-
AA. They had a better idea for me.
I think sometimes you get so focused on the chaos of what is happening that you can kind of distract from the chaos that's going on within. Like in,
Oh, yeah.
in your steps, you're working on taking that really genuine inventory. And
Right.
a lot of people don't like to start digging in and finding things.
Uncomfortable.
And then what do you do to deal with that?
Right.
A little chaos is her fault.
Especially if you're trying to get away from substances which comforted you before. Like, what are you going to do when you start investigating all of the pieces of yourself that you'd prefer to just kind of keep shoved away?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's where early recovery can be difficult for folks because there's a lot of confusion, like as Mike mentioned there, and it's why it's good to have a group of people around you who can maybe offer you some different ideas, or some different thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's one of the amazing things about the recovery community that we do have growing and developing is it is really trying to help people, especially early on, get that non-judgmental support to be able to move themselves forward.
Right. And you encounter a lot of people first, though, and then you direct them towards different resources in the recovery community, correct?
Yeah, sometimes they'll have been connected in other spots, so maybe meetings, maybe recovery court, maybe their counselor.
And you
And
can
feel
do
like
that
this is the
with
case.
medically assisted help, right? If
Yeah.
you're suffering the physical.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's a wonderful resource to have here in Montcalm County, folks. Especially for the new folks coming in, or even maybe somebody with some time under their belt can have a conversation with you, and you have some different ideas about maybe how to help
Yeah.
someone. So
Yeah, sometimes people are, not early on, but they're still white knuckling it,
Oh,
or they're
That
still
was me.
feeling like they don't have the stability to start really moving forward to the quality of life that they want to have. And so maybe that's meds to help support brain chemistry from a buprenorphine standpoint, or naltrexone with alcohol, sometimes with stimulants. Or it's looking to start addressing their mental health needs.
Right.
And really start digging away at providing some support so they can figure things out.
I'm under the impression that Corwell has recovery coach that helps direct people to resources.
Yeah, so we got a grant through the opioid settlement funds for a recovery coach. And we had a fantastic one, and then unfortunately she had another opportunity. I guess it was the opportunity of a lifetime that she ended up transitioning to
was
a
that
different.
Wendy?
It was.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I
yeah.
knew she had gone somewhere. I'm
Yep.
not.
Wendy was gold. So those are big shoes to fill, but we are looking to get the ball rolling on that because that was a really helpful piece. Not everybody's at the spot where they're comfortable with a therapist, and some people want that person who has walked in similar shoes because, not every treatment provider has used substances in the same way. They don't necessarily have that personal understanding that recovery coaches do.
So I saw an ad for recovery coach at Corwell Health, and I thought, Wendy must have had a great offer because Corwell offers pet insurance. And I thought, how are you going to beat that stuff?
Pet insurance?
Yeah. And I thought, well,
Phenomenal.
God, maybe Mia needs me to do that, but not yet.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. We're going to discuss pet insurance when we come back. 'Cause we're making strides here for the recovery community.
We're doing what we can.
Dillinger's telling me we're going to take a break, so that's what we're going to do. Come on back and join us after these brief messages. Thank you so much for being a part of our continuous miracle.
Question, Dillinger.
Yep.
Is that clock correct?
That one is 11:30.
Then you're giving us our break 6 minutes too early.
Am I?
Yeah, we're supposed to 17, 17, and 17 with 5
I wish
in
you would have
between.
told me that. I wish somebody would have told me that.
Well, I did, but a little late.
I was just here blindly thinking.
I've been talking to Cara, and she told me roughly you guys are what, 15-minute segments or 17 minutes?
Your local station.
Well, okay. I was going by my usual clock, which is the weather at the 30. You know what I mean? The half
Oh, yeah,
PSA
yeah.
weather.
You got to run that anyway, don't you?
What?
You want to run the weather or whatever right now? Or?
It's not right now. That's already in. We already got weather, so I'm not worried about it. Yep, that's what's happening here is the news and weather. And then we come back. Okay, well now I know. All right, 17, he says.
Is that what she was telling you?
That's what he's telling me.
Yeah. Yeah, normally we do 3 segments. That's
Right.
what I thought. Well, that was
So
quick.
that was one. Well, we did 2, and I was going to come back with another one. And then I was going to give you, well, technically give you guys 4 segments.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You can adjust.
You got enough to talk about?
I'm malleable.
Sir.
I'm malleable.
My parents asked me, you got enough to talk about in the mornings? I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. Do you think that there's oversaturation in recoveries as far as help? Or are they each, you think each one's kind of differently designed to help different needs?
Each one is
in
differently
people?
designed, and I mean, like, you know, we have multiple providers in the area, but that doesn't mean like that I'm the right fit for some people.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's good to have options.
Sure.
Well,
When
it's-
I
and it's
started,
all
I was
broadened.
the only option.
Because I didn't mean it like in a, like a bad way. Like there's
Oh,
too many.
yeah.
Obviously, there's not enough. But I mean, it seems like you know you have Alano here. We got Outreach 409. We have a bunch that keep popping up
Yeah.
to help with different aspects,
Yeah.
and a lot of them do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd say like, I mean, you want your space that you feel comfortable with.
Mm.
Like in the same way that if I want options of shoes,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Because
You need these, I'm
I'm-
telling
You
you.
don't want to go to Just Foot Locker.
like, you know, you need work shoes for work. You need nice shoes allegedly
What's
for
that?
nice things. Like, you know, it's different functions.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
might all be a tennis shoe, but
Right.
it may not be like there might be needs that you have that are a little bit, you know, not one place is gonna like fully fill that for you.
Maybe they got a certain person who's more specialized to
Exactly.
exactly what you went through.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you should use a footwear simile. In our book,
Oh, man,
when it
I've
talks
always
about spirituality, it talks about it's like a new pair of shoes. Put them on and walk in them for a while.
Well, I mean, I've always said, like, since I started practice, that
I don't know,
therapists
man,
are like
You're
shoes.
just going really long in your last.
Okay.
Cause
Which will let you guys go.
like so.
Yeah, see, like 15 years ago,
Sometimes the
when recovery
therapists will get you
they came to
started,
us.
get you out to the mailbox,
5
but like
people
they're not the
died
marathon
before
shoe,
teenagers.
right?
Well,
Like
yeah.
sometimes you gotta,
No, around here?
you gotta,
Okay.
you gotta try a few on.
I think
before
somebody
you
had
find
told me
one.
about
Prominent
that.
families.
When I'm in the jail,
And you
the fellows I work with, the one therapist, the other
Well, I heard there was a little bit of a trouble
and they
with
work
some
out a diagnosis
drugs
with a
and stuff out this way.
DSM-5.
Like it was
But what
rampant
I've
in the
come
area.
across is
Yeah,
most of the
5
people that
overdoses.
come into
That's
AA
stable with the
have got
side.
an
10
issue that's not
seconds.
in that DSM-5 because
You
of the
keep talking.
complications of compounded
He will,
the things that cause PTSD. They're compounded in different ways. Complex, there you go, called.
Hey, we're back.
Oh, did you tell me to shut?
Yeah, Dillinger told you, hey, we're back.
Not in so many words. No.
Oh, I'll
I
pay
know,
attention.
well, you having your own conversations, so
It's
we
fine.
let you, you know. Well, you were engaging. PAK.
Thank you.
PAK.
He was in the right gear,
Yeah,
right gear, wrong time.
right. He was talking about recovery.
Right place, wrong line is the line somewhere.
It's a song. Yeah.
We are multifaceted here.
I love it. I'm having a good time.
So yeah, stay tuned for a cooking episode.
Yeah, no, don't. No, we're not going to do that today.
Jim, I got a cooking idea.
So I'm going to get back to my original thing here. A day to accept. We got a little off the path there. Not really. On the 20th, out there at MCC Greenbelt campus, 9 to 12:30. Said, come on, I have some lunch. Listen to PA Kate and a few other well-renowned speakers out there. And what that does is it's opened so that we can all become more educated about recovery and the different aspects. not only of addiction, but of the recovery process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've had so many opportunities with the recovery community develop, and yet stigma still exists. Like, we know that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think this is a way to try and engage the community, not just the recovery community, but the community at large,
Yeah,
to
the general community.
provide some understanding, meet and connect. I think the more connection that we can have, and the more that we can be integrating recovery folks back into communities, like, that's where growth and improvement for the whole community comes in.
Yeah. I think part of that lessening of the stigma is it's part of what this show is about, a piece of it anyway, and something that was really important to myself in early recovery. Somebody said to me, people in recovery are not bad people trying to get good. That's not the point. They're sick people. They have a disease and they're trying to become well. And that helped me turn a corner about myself, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
And then as the recovery process we go into, of course, there's, as you mentioned, some steps and stuff available to help us become more whole as a human. And, wow. And, who knew that? Certainly not the people who, when I was out there before, prior to recovery, I wasn't aware of that stuff. But becoming aware of it, becoming educated, so we can have empathy, compassion, and care for our fellow citizens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everyone's got something that they're working with, whether it's an addiction problem or a physical problem or an emotional problem. They're out there, but they can all be overcome with some help along the way, and that's amazing. People are getting better without our permission.
Good.
Or even asking.
Something about the stigma reduction. There's another thing a lot of people learn is the difference between enabling and helping with the real situation. A lot of times people think they're helping, but they really are enabling. A person needs to be, there's a limit to, maybe is a better way to put it, but a person needs to understand where helping stops and enabling begins.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's a really challenging piece for a lot of family members to navigate, is wanting to help without contributing to dysfunction.
Right.
That's something that I've found that the fan group really helps with.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
Face Addiction Now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they help educate people. This is helpful, and that's probably not so helpful.
Yeah.
But that's part of what FAN is. That's her purpose. To help educate folks,
Yeah.
lessen that stigma, and bring forth the idea that people can actually recover from these diseases, just like folks recover from cancer.
I think it's, recovery isn't just a journey for the person using substances. Every aspect, every person that use touches on also has to, navigate and reevaluate and heal on their own, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that you used a simile with cancer, because for a guy like me, the drinking aspect was what you could call the cancer. All the other issues that were associated with it could have been like the causes of the cancer that I needed to treat so that I didn't get it again. That sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when I explain it that way to some people, it makes a little bit better sense. All the therapy part deals with the causes, and the initial treatment get me away from it's like removing a tumor.
Yeah. I think for me, when I'm talking with folks,
That's a pretty recognizable picture. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I usually call it roots and fruits.
Oh.
Right? So the fruit is the use. The fruit is the substance use. Ultimately, we can stabilize dopamine, we can help provide stability, we can stop growing fruit. But if we are not actually digging down to the root, you have the potential that fruit starts reproducing again.
I like to use that. That guy over there says I got to remove that stuff, root and branch. He found that in our book somewhere, I'm pretty
Hey!
That's root and branch. You can start digging or start chopping. Pick one, but do it quick.
sure. Yeah, but for a guy like me, I wasn't very good at gardening. This all I ever did was pull the tops and the weeds off, and the roots were still there. Next thing you know, I'm going back to a chaotic relationship, thinking that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah. Who was that famous man who said, like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results?
Sure.
Well,
I don't know who that was, but I've heard it repeated more
was it
than
Thomas
once.
Edison or Jefferson or...
I would go with Edison.
They're all pretty bright guys.
But I
Especially
would
Edison.
suspect he didn't come up with it first. He heard it in a different form and just repeated it
Yeah,
for us
there
like
we
that.
go.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yep. It's sometimes called AA one-liners.
Right.
Albert Einstein. Or no.
Oh,
No, it
Dillinger's.
wasn't.
Dillinger's out. He got a
Oh,
Google
man.
machine to work.
Oh,
He's on the Googler, and we're going to be okay.
It's probably one of those quotes that they
Oh, it's a
attribute.
misattribution to Albert Einstein, like originating in the 1980s with Narcotics Anonymous, or Al-Anon literature before being popularized by author Rita Mae Brown in 1983.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Wow!
So
So,
it's been around about
it
40
already
years.
what? Like, it came from the AANA group.
That's how legends are born.
I was getting legendary status in AA until I told him, no, I borrowed that from somebody.
Right. Yeah, it's not on this program. Thank you.
Yeah.
So moving forward now, are you still, I know who your employer is, and are you involved with Summer, though, on a contractual basis? I mean, are they part of your
so
recovery network?
Yeah, I've participated in their meetings to collaborate and try
Okay.
to address system issues. But the funny thing about system issues is it usually takes most or all players, like, all pulling together to do heavy lifts. I mean, there's some incremental changes that each individual or each organization can put into place.
Right.
But that kind of radical change takes time. So
I've noticed in the recovery, the people, the different entities that are coming together, or have come together, I should say. People are so willing to try to be helpful. So I've seen a lot of quick remedies to what maybe previously would have been looked at as, too big of an obstacle to
yeah,
overcome.
yeah.
Absolutely not anymore. I see a lot more collaboration, a lot more willingness, a lot more helpfulness to try and find some sort of resolution within these organizations, and that's wonderful to see and
Yeah.
to be a part of, and hey, you got a better idea.
I think that is one of the
And how can we do that? Well, we've been very fortunate as far as our resources have increased so that we can actually do that, whereas before it was more, you guys are doing this thing. You mentioned oversaturation, but what we found is more it's collaboration.
I like that.
And it's open and honest and with people who are willing. And when you have collaboration with a group of people, you're bound to have some positive growth.
Absolutely.
And it's going to come from that collaboration, those organizations coming together, working together for a primary purpose.
I think that is one of the differences between working in Grand Rapids and in the Kent County system compared to the Montcalm County system. In
Well,
some
you can draw a
ways,
distinction. You've been
Yeah.
involved with both.
Yeah.
I haven't been so much, but you have.
so my one opinion from me is that
Well, you can have one. I'll get one.
well, this is the one we're putting on air.
Okay. Here it comes.
So, in some ways, Grand Rapids has a lot of treatment options, but everything is so disconnected. But I think what we have in Montcalm County is so many individuals who are in organizations who all have a personal passion that then bleeds into their organization. And so what we see is more organizations creating a tighter knit collaboration. You know, we didn't typically have the same, like, you know, organization to organization connection for folks down in Grand Rapids. Like, for folks that I'm seeing that I'm recommending, you know, or they're interested in seeing a therapist, typically I'm more familiar with the opportunities or the options in the area than what I ever was down in Grand Rapids.
Right.
So you really have that connection, and it's one of the things that I think is amazing about Montcalm County is how many organizations are dedicated to putting their heads together to improve the community, and not getting so tied up in like the bureaucracy or the red tape, like just sitting down to like figure something out.
Right.
And I think that that is one of the most amazing things about practicing in this area.
I've noticed it too, and it's just sitting down and getting to the nuts and bolts of things, and putting personalities aside and just saying what's the best for all concerned here, and how can we try and achieve that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but I think, you know, we're a rural community.
right, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah, it's not just substance use that people will come together to work on. It's, you know, we've seen, at least I've seen growing up, where if someone had a medical need but they didn't have insurance that would cover, the community tried to come together to do an event that would help support that person. You know, that's just been the way that community has been. And I don't know if we see as much of that with technology. It seems like we all get a little bit more distant, but this is one of the places where I think that still continues.
Yeah, where you have that face-to-face.
Small towns are more connected. Big cities, there's a lot more disconnect because everybody's so
Exactly.
spaced out.
Yeah.
You don't want to know your neighbors. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? At
yeah.
that point, out here, you grew up with everybody.
I wonder for a Lakeview resident how much that spillover is what the Amish people bring to the community. They don't have the insurance type things we do, so when they have, it's a community get together to support them. And I see a lot of that. But what I really wanted to mention is when you're talking about people helping from disparate places, I was going to a recovery court meeting the other day, and one of the people I was talking to on the way there was talking about how much benefit this will be for children of the addict.
Yeah.
And their big thrust was children, and that was part of why they were there. Not the addict per se, but the fallout that the children, the family encountered. And what, wow.
Right.
I mean-
Next generation.
Yeah.
When we are providing tools, when we're providing support to one person, the effect of that support does not end with that one person.
No.
Yeah.
No, just continuing.
Exactly. So the efforts that we're putting in, you know, like I hope that I don't see all the direct efforts. Like I hope I don't see the direct outcomes of the effort I put in. Like if we're providing support for change and we're empowering people, then empowered people make positive change.
Right.
And then that will continue to ripple out.
Yeah, and continue and grow the community as a whole. You know, as a little healthier place to be and interact.
Which overall hopefully will reduce our caseload, so to speak.
Yeah, really, that's the goal, yeah.
I mean, substance use is something that societies have used substances since before societies were societies. So it's something that we will always have with us, but there are more positive ways that we can be impacting that. And yeah, I hope that the efforts that we're making now give
Bear fruit.
Yeah, I was gonna say give my children when they're in their adolescence, when they're in their young adulthood, more support and more continued connection.
Yeah. And when people talk about things openly, there's no, you know, it's not a secret.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Are there a lot of kids more in recovery or addiction? Like younger, I don't want to say kids. I want to say 18, 21, you know. With today's current state of the world, it seems like
So-
there might be a little bit more.
It really depends.
Okay.
And I can only speak for like my aspect, which is prescribing medication. And so a lot of times, what typical patterns are is people who are starting substance use early, like 12 to 14, may not have the level of dysfunction. Like ultimately,
Sure.
people are coming to me because their use has come to such a dysfunctional level that they need to make a change. And sometimes that's happening in their early 20s. I would say more of the folks who are coming into care probably late 20s, early 30s.
Wow.
Well, that's earlier than previous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it used to be, it used to be a little different than that. People were a little more along the trail,
Yeah.
you know.
Although I think like we don't always see a ton of with opioid use disorder. We're not necessarily seeing a lot of people who are in their 60s or 70s who are coming into treatment. Unfortunately, there is a really high mortality
Well,
aspect to that. But one group that has really been coming forward, I would say within the past few years, is folks who are using alcohol, who want to make some positive change. And so some of them are, up in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Right.
Sometimes it's that it didn't become so dysfunctional while they were working, but after they retire,
Oh, yeah.
their
Put on your
purpose
slippers.
is gone. Yeah. So that's been a very, very interesting substance to start addressing. There's not as many great medication options. Like there's some stability that we can be providing, but a lot of it is connecting them to additional supports, and also continuing to address whatever underlying factors are playing into how use ramped up the way that it did.
I've got another interruption. You were talking connectivity. Quite often, addiction, alcoholism is described as a disease of isolation. And you keep pointing out that the solution is connectivity. Retirement is some form of isolation for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, when somebody goes into something that, for whatever reason, helps to isolate them, retirement, sometimes an accident, the mobility issues, those sort of things. That's
Right.
why we wind up seeing them, is because the isolation has taken its toll. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like that self-perpetuating cycle. Like once that like loneliness sets in, once that like void starts to present, then
You
like,
fill it by hitting your pleasure center.
yeah, and then that's what you spend your time doing, and then you don't have the same amount of time, you don't have the same energy for things outside of just continuing that relationship with that substance.
Yeah, just trying to fill a void that you've been like a job at 30 something years, and then you just now you have what are you going to do with your time?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be self-perpetuating.
Sure. There's some of that information that's out there. It talks about we having a loneliness epidemic in this country.
We do. Yeah.
And what I found out with some of that is that the people don't, that's what the statistics say, is that the people don't have any connection where they can be helpful to other people. Most of their connections are self-centered type connections, and and you need to help and feel good about helping other people is what it seems like I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is very true. Like we touched on technology, like
Yeah.
you're more connected, but now you're also more disconnected.
Right, your physical presence isn't everywhere that you need to be sometimes. Yeah. But as long as I'm connected electronically, then or
Yeah.
digitally,
Yeah, and
then
I
I'm
think,
there. But there's a
we're-
difference between being present and available.
amen. Oh
and
man.
being, hey, let me text you.
Yeah, right. You got to look somebody in the eye, and I need to
Right.
feel that what they're saying that doesn't come across in text, or I don't.
Right.
I sometimes misunderstand, or I'll be quick to anger because they said something, but that's not what they meant. They
Right.
just meant it as this, but I can't see the inflection, and I can't tell that you're joking. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Unless you're
and-
talking to Mike, he's joking all
Oh,
the time. Kind of built in.
That's right. It comes with the territory.
That's
There was
right.
that one moment, remember?
Well, you know.
Oh, you don't you? Never
Yeah,
mind.
I was there. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do that again.
It was a flash.
Yeah, and I think with technology, like you can create the environment that you live in. Like the algorithm will create the environment you live in.
Yeah, that's dangerous. isn't it?
Yeah, it will just.
Unless you want to be controlled by AI.
It's probably beyond what we all recognize anyway.
Yeah,
We
Probably
talk
not a
about
good
the
idea.
algorithm you created. For a guy like me, that was my use and my purpose was to go to work and make money to support my family. That was the algorithm. And then, so to speak, when it wasn't like that, the kids got older and they didn't need me so much. I didn't have that purpose like that. By then, they were already doing like direct deposits, so I didn't even have that kind of connection. I didn't need to go home. You know, that might have really put a problem in society having that
Was
direct
that like
deposit.
the 1950s?
No, wait, the 1800s they had. Oh no,
I can't believe you were involved with direct deposit in any way, shape, or form. Is that true?
oh wait a minute. Maybe that's when I returned to the workworce. They did that last week.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's when it came about. Yeah.
Forgive me.
Forgiven.
Oh, thanks, boss.
It's easy enough.
Tell them how to get a hold of us.
Yeah, get a hold of us at continuousmiracle.net. You can leave an email there for us. You can also view any of our previously recorded shows up there at any time at your leisure. Also, you can find us at Continuous Miracle Radio on Facebook, and that's available all the time now. So you can, now if you just don't catch it live, if you want to type Continuous Miracle Radio into your toolbar, shows will pop right up for you there. Also, we'll be on YouTube come Tuesday, I believe. Is that right, Dillinger?
Yes.
Tuesday it gets posted on YouTube. Thank you, sir.
You're asking. Sure.
That's why you're here.
I know.
I feel so much better knowing that now.
Yeah. You can reach out to us and at that continuousmiracle.net. You can leave a note or an email. Mike and I will respond. And we enjoy that, so please do that when we get an opportunity. Dr. Kate,
Let's
PA
go.
Kate. I want to thank you for coming in today on such short notice. We had a little glitch in the thing here, and here you were, stepped up to be of service once again, which seems to be something you do pretty regular.
Well, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
You're
Yeah.
a wonderful resource for the folks in Montclair County that we have available. We want folks to
Nope.
utilize that.
Ignore that.
If need be. Ignore that? Are you doing?
I don't know what happened.
Are you working magic over
Nope.
there?
We're still
Okay.
fine. We're fine. We're fine.
So, Mike, who we got coming on the show next week? I know you made some arrangements with somebody.
We don't have a guest lined up for next week, but we have quite a few guests lined up, but most of it has to do with I work up the jail in Nuevo, and I've encountered quite a few folks that are helping people that are incarcerated. We're going to have some of those on board pretty quick.
Okay. Public servants.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, come on back and join us again here next Sunday on Continuous Miracle, WGLM, right here in beautiful downtown Greenville, Michigan.
Beautiful downtown.
Thank you so much for being a part of our show, and we'll look forward to speaking to you next week.
There we go. Just like that. No, I forgot that it does that top of the hour thing.
Yeah.
It does it on its own.
Oh,
And that's why it
jumped
started.
in.
I'm like, oh, I didn't turn that off.
I talked right over it.
Good for us. Good.